What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Craftavore Tastes, and today we're digging into a little bit of collaboration time. A collaboration beer between Two Roads Brewing out of Stratford, Connecticut, and Lawson's Finest Liquids out of Warren, Vermont. So this is Typecast, and Typecast is a New England farmhouse IPA that has been brewed with white cedar boughs and balsam fir tips. Interesting. It's dry hopped with both Connecticut and Vermont grown hops, so sounds kind of super interesting, kind of unique. Excited to dive into it and give this one a go. So, I don't know if Two Roads and Lawson's has collaborated on a beer before. You would think they would have. Sean Lawson has been contract brewing Sip of Sunshine, and I believe his Super Session series of beers out of Two Roads for the last number of years. Obviously, that has resulted in folks in the lower New England area and even kind of New York State, specifically the NYC area, the ability to actually see Sip of Sunshine, at their local places where they buy beer on shelves. And so, yeah, that's kind of the result of that. So, don't know if they've actually done a collaboration before, but let's go through the drill on this one, man. Sounds super interesting. Pop a top on it, take a look at the appearance, get the aroma, taste it, and of course, we're going to rate it. All right, let's go ahead. Let me get that straight up into the camera view. Do an awful job, as usual, of pouring that beer. It's actually not that horrible. Turn that guy right around. So immediately after I poured that beer, I can immediately begin kind of smelling those quote-unquote farmhouse characteristics, right? So I can get a little bit of kind of sweetness. Literally, I don't even have to get the aroma. It is wafting right now, straight up out of this glass. Getting a tremendous amount of fruitiness going on, a bunch of esters, a little bit of banana, a little bit of clove. Like, it's literally wafting out. So first things first, let's take a look at the appearance. All right, so beer comes in a light kind of gold color, almost kind of straw yellow. It's got a little bit of kind of haze going on there, medium minus haze. A couple of really nice fingers of kind of really fluffy, white, beautiful kind of head. Bubbles are slightly a little bit compact, but it's got kind of that frothy kind of look. Looks great, man. Like, awesome. It's almost kind of got that mixture of like IPA and a little bit of kind of almost Saison kind of look to it. So let's go ahead and continue with the aroma by diving our nose a little bit further into it. I don't think I'm going to have to go that far, all right? Yeah. So as I was mentioning before, a lot of fruitiness coming out of here, a lot of traditional kind of Belgian Saison esters and phenols, getting a tremendous amount of... fruity kind of banana. A little bit of kind of clove going on. I'm kind of searching in the nose for woodiness, I would think, from maybe that white cedar and even kind of a little bit of green, maybe perhaps, piney or kind of dankness from the balsam fir tips, but I'm kind of really not getting that. The profile is definitely dominated by those kind of traditional Belgian Saison kind of notes, which is obviously, very, very traditional with that kind of farmhouse kind of style. Just off the nose, I mean, if I had this in a black glass, or just actually if I didn't know that this was quote-unquote a farmhouse IPA, and I've had several of them in the past, right, that kind of, crossover between that, IPA kind of style and then that have that Saison kind of farmhouse characteristics to them. But truthfully, if I wasn't told that this was an IPA, I wouldn't think it was. I would think that I'd be drinking a Saison. So, smells super interesting, man. It smells great. I love Saisons and I love IPAs. So mix them, mash them together, and here you go. You have... Typecast. All right, so let's go ahead and give her a taste. Cheers. What is that? So, wow. So first on the taste, it's coming in at 6.5% ABV. I don't know if I mentioned that before. Man, this one's really kind of hard to describe a bit. Getting a bit more. The taste, though, man, this one's tough. So The taste is not traditional Belgian Saison. It has the nose. It has still a little bit of that kind of banana fruitiness, cloviness kind of going on in the taste. But there's something here where I don't know whether it's kind of like just the kind of malt bill or however they, whatever the grist was with this beer. There's not a lot of backbone and malt body to it. I'm going in for one more. Maybe help me kind of describe it a little bit more. Yeah, so, wow. I don't like that at all. So when you taste it, middle of the palate, where you're kind of expecting a little bit of that malt to express itself and push forward maybe a bit of sweetness, just a little bit of kind of malt character. Their borderline is none. Like middle of the palate, the beer almost washes away as very thin. Um, and what's left behind is this kind of nondescript, borderline bland kind of flavor. I'm not getting a tremendous amount of anything as it regards to white cedar or balsam fir tips. It's just a really odd bird in terms of a beer. I'm really fascinated to maybe look on Untapped or even Beer Advocate to see what kind of people thought about this. But this is strange in the sense that, like, middle of the palate, it just kind of washes away as this almost kind of bland, super non existent um, taste. It's really weird. Like, what was the term that I just had it in my head, and I apologize if I'm rambling on a little bit here, but this one's a strange one. It's almost as if when you drink the beer middle way through the palate, it almost drops out like any form of character or flavor and just leaves it as this strange kind of watery one note. Yeah, I'm going to go back in for another taste, see if I can pull anything else out. Yeah, and then there's like a little bit of kind of like, because there's no malt backbone and it becomes very thin, what ends up happening is that you get like a slight bit of kind of astringency going on. It does have a little bit of sweetness, I guess, as it kind of lingers on basically, end of the palate. Um, yeah, I don't like this one. I really don't like it. It started off and smelled great, and then just taste kind of falls super flat. I'm curious to see if people kind of felt the same way. All right, so let's go ahead and give this one a rating. The beer's crushable, right? Like, it's light. It's aromatic. I will give it that. Flavor profile leaves a bit to be desired, but I mean, it's relatively clean. It's pretty crisp. It has, as I mentioned, nice aromatics. Man, this is tough. Um, I gotta give this one a 3.25, man. I really, really do. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the beer from the standpoint of, I don't find it. It's not offensive, but I don't find it particularly pleasing, if that makes sense. It's just, to me, does not feel very well rounded whatsoever. Aromatics are great on it though. But honestly, a 3.5 cap beer to me is what I constitute average in my rating system. I would honestly say that this is below average, which is a little bit shocking when, obviously it has Lawson's Finest Liquids name on it. I think there are beers that Two Roads does well, and I think there's a lot of beers that Two Roads does that aren't so great. But yeah, this is a little bit shocking for me. So, sorry, 3.25 caps for the Typecast from Two Roads and Lawson's Finest Liquids. That'll do it for this episode of the Craftavore Taste. I'll hope you join me again for another episode where I drink, I review, I rate, and then I repeat. Cheers.